They have emergency loans with no credit check. Good credit is not needed. So in today's video, we have an absolute game changer. I'm gonna be sharing with you over 20 plus secret lenders where you can get access to funding. Now, this is especially helpful for those entrepreneurs who are struggling with getting access to capital from the major banks. We're gonna be covering the Entrepreneurs of Color Fund. Now, the Entrepreneur of Color Fund is all about advancing small business diversity. So this promotes the success of small business owners serving communities of color with the help of local CDFIs. So they work with over 32 CDFIs in 10 markets across the country to increase access to capital for entrepreneurs of color and all other entrepreneurs serving communities of color, right? So they get millions and millions of dollars, and they're tasked with deploying that into these different communities. And the way they're able to reach business owners throughout the country is partnering with the local CDFI. So what they basically do is allow the CDFIs to go out and originate these loans. So we're going to be going over some specific CDFIs where you can actually get this money from. Now, to date, they've closed over 2,900 loans and over 185 million in lending. And mind you, this is just in 2023. These are the main metro areas that the Entrepreneur of Color Fund extend to, right? So you have Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, Miami, New Orleans, New York, Newark, New Jersey, Oakland, California, and Washington, D.C. I do have a list of the CDFIs that we're going to cover in today's video. We're going to go through one by one. First on the list, let's just go over Atlanta. Atlanta has several different CDFIs. So they have Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs, ACE. You also have the Village Micro Fund, Atlanta Emerging Market. So these are the three institutions, CDFIs in the Atlanta area. I know a lot of our subscribers are in the Atlanta area. So Access to Capital for Entrepreneurs, ACE. So pretty much, you know, they've originated over 200 million loans to over 2,600 businesses and helped create over 21,000 jobs. All right, so they have small business loans for 50,000 and under, right? So this is going to be for-profit businesses over 2 years old. So you do need to be in business for at least 2 years old, and you can get up to $50,000. And then they also have commercial business loans. So this is over 50,000 up to $1 million. And this is going to be for established businesses. So real quick, let's just look over some of the details of the small business loan. All right. So these are going to be considered micro loans from a minimum of $15,000 up to $50,000. Now, again, you must be in business for at least 2 years, must be a Georgia-based for-profit enterprise. They are going to be offering these below market rate loans, right? So as you can see right here, the rates are fixed at 7.75%. So anyone who's familiar with where rates are with commercial banks, as of this video, the prime rate is 8%. So most banks are going to charge prime plus a margin. So right now, if you go to like a M&T or a Truist, you're probably looking at 10%. That's assuming, you know, you have the best credit and, you know, you're able to qualify for that rate. So 7.75 is very competitive. Terms out to 60 months with monthly principal and interest payments. They have Allies for Community Business with loans from $500 up to $100,000. And they also have List Chicago, which have loans starting at $100,000 for Chicago businesses. Allies for Community Business, right? So they offer business loans, again, up to $100K, and they have grants available. So any subscribers, business owners in the Chicago area, definitely pay attention to this one because this one offers some pretty interesting funding options. Loans for $500 up to $100,000 to early, emerging, and established businesses in Illinois and Indiana. So they cover 2 different states. So right now they have a special loan. So this is the Good Food Fund loan, and this is a 3% interest term loan or line of credit available to eligible food and beverage entrepreneurs in Chicago. So that's actually a game changer when you think about it. 3% on a line of credit. So check this out. So So the Good Food Fund loan is a low interest term loan or line of credit made possible through the City of Chicago's Good Food Fund. Entrepreneurs pay 3% in interest and 2% in closing fees over the term of 1 to 3 years, depending on the loan size. Some of the other markets, you have Detroit. All right, so Detroit has what's called the Detroit Development Fund. And so they have a couple different programs. They have contractor lines of credit, DDF microloans, Entrepreneur of Color Fund. They have pre-construction loans as well as small business loans. Contractor line of credit, this will be very viable for any contractors or real estate developers in the Detroit area who are, looking to have some type of credit facility where they can do rehab projects. With these contractor lines of credit, you must have 1 to 2 years experience or have completed a MSHDA contractor assistant program or similar program, have contract or purchase order to perform work, will use Detroit residents to complete portions of the contract. The contractor lines of credit usually range from $30,000 up to $100,000 in terms out to 6 to 12 months. They also have the DDF microloans from $10,000 up to $40,000 in terms from a minimum of 24 months out to 84 months. Now, in order to qualify, again, this is very narrow in scope, but the business must be located in the city of Detroit. Also have just your standard business loans, and these loans go from a minimum of $50,000 up to $150,000. Business just has to be in existence for at least 12 months or 1 year, have annual sales of at least $100,000 and fewer than 50 employees, and must be located in the city of Detroit. Point of a lot of these CDFIs is to offer access to capital to underserved entrepreneurs. And as it says right here, one of the other qualifications is that the business must have been unable to obtain sufficient financing from traditional lending sources. One of the other big markets is going to be Los Angeles. I know we got a lot of subscribers in the LA area. You have what's called Inclusive Action for the City, Action Opportunity Fund. You have LIST Los Angeles, the Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, and also Vermont Slauson Economic Development Corp. So I've gone over a couple of these previously. A lot of you are familiar with Action Opportunity Fund. That's a national CDFI, one of the very few where most people are actually going to be eligible. So Action Opportunity Fund, I believe, is one of the biggest CDFIs, if not the biggest, $5,000 up to $250,000, rates as low as 8.49%. Inclusive Action for the City. So their mission is to serve underinvested communities and build thriving local economies by improving access to transformative capital. They help low-income, Black and brown, and immigrant entrepreneurs gain access to low-cost capital in business coaching. So they have 3 different loan products. The first loan product, it goes from $500 up to $2,500, 5% fixed rate. Again, so that's below market rate, 3 to 12 month repayment, no application fee, no time in business requirement, as it says right here, and you can get funded in as little as 7 days. The next level up, minimum of $5,000 up to $50,000. This has a 3% fixed annual rate, terms out to 60 months. There is a $50 application fee and a guarantor fee of 2 to 3% of the loan amount. And the minimum time in business is 6 months, and you can get funded in as little as 30 days. No minimum FICO and no prepayment penalty. So absolutely no minimum credit score, no minimum FICO in order to qualify for this. You also have Miami. So Miami, Florida has a couple other CDFIs. Send US, I've done videos on this before. You have Community Fund of North Miami-Dade, where they're giving out loans from $10,000 up to $150,000 for for-profit minority and women-owned businesses in Miami-Dade County. Prospera, which is an economic development nonprofit that specializes in providing bilingual assistance to Hispanic entrepreneurs who want to start, sustain, and grow their business. They facilitated over $70 million in loans for small business clients and trained over 17,000 entrepreneurs. You also have, again, Bayside Foundation, and they have loans from $5,000 up to $75,000. Now, for those who are in the DC metro area, so a lot of my local folks, one of the best CDFIs out there is City First Enterprise. And City First, you could actually submit an P through Bridge Built by City platform. I've also dropped a link in the description of the video. They have affordable housing lending. So if you're looking to acquire, if you need construction to perm financing, right? So if you're building, let's say, ground up construction, they could basically do it all in one loan. And there's also bridge loans as well. So this is going to be short-term financing for pre-development, acquisition, or construction. Now, in terms of borrower eligibility, you must be a for-profit or nonprofit developer. Amounts from 100,000 up to 2.5 million, terms up to 7 years. And again, the 7 years is going to be for acquisition and construction to perm. But for the bridge funding, which again is usually going to be short-term, that's only up to 24 months. All right, so the interest rates can range from 6 to 9%. And actually, this is pretty competitive because when you're looking at construction loans tend to have higher rates. Next up, we have Greater Newark Enterprises Corporation. So this is going to be for those who are in the New Jersey, New York tri-state area. So they have business loans, two programs actually. So a micro loan program from 1K up to 30K, and then they also have loans above 30K. Now they have what's called the Dream Maker loan. All right, so if you require up to 30K, this is going to be a good option for you. So you could borrow between $1,000 and $30,000 without a collateral pledge. Borrowers with ITIN numbers are acceptable. So they have a couple other programs as well. They have what's called the Phoenix Fund. So this provides 3.5% on 5-year terms to support returning citizens. There's also the Opportunity Zone Fund. There's the Women Entrepreneur Fund. So this is a fixed 5.99% for businesses that are 51% or more women owned. Again, the Minority Entrepreneur Fund, 5.99% fixed for minority entrepreneurs. They also have the Pride Fund. So this is a funding source provided to members of the LGBTQ plus community. And they also have the Trade Fund. And this is going to be for various business owners in specific trade fields. All right, next up on the list, we have Invest Atlanta, right? So again, I know a lot of you guys who watch the channel are in the Atlanta area. They have Atlanta Open for Business Fund. You have the Atlanta Recovery Loan Program. So this is a 5.7 million program offering low-cost loans to help small businesses. You also have the Commercial Property Improvement Grant up to $50,000, and this is used to help improve commercial properties. You have the Commercial Down Payment Assistance offering low-interest financing to assist existing business owners in the city of Atlanta to acquire commercial property. And then you have the Atlanta Startup Growth Loan, the Atlanta Startup Growth Loan Program. So this is up to $150,000 in low cost interest loans to help your startup acquire new assets or update existing assets. If you're in the Atlanta area, there's a couple different programs you just want to keep on your radar, right? So you have the Atlanta Recovery Loan Program up to $100K in low interest loans, the Commercial Property Improvement Grant up to $50K, the Commercial Down Payment Assistance offering a low interest financing to assist existing business owners in the city acquire commercial property. And then, as we just went over, the Atlanta Startup Growth Loan, low interest loans up to $150,000. Next up on the list, we have the Latino Economic Development Center. Okay, so this is going to be for people in the DC metro area. So Washington, DC, Baltimore metro areas, as well as Puerto Rico. So they have the growth loan. This is up to $250,000. And again, this is going to be more for the established businesses with at least 2 years in operations. Then you have the startup loan up to $20,000. So this is going to be startups with less than 2 years. And then you have the C loan, and this only goes up to $5K. So this is for startups with less than 1 year in operations or plans to launch a company within 3 months of receiving the funds. Now, based on the program, there's different eligibility. I've gone over this before. So for those who are in the Montgomery County area, there's a handful of different programs, as I mentioned in other videos, like the video lottery terminal program. This right here is a game changer because basically what they do is that they give out these small business loans to minority and women-owned businesses throughout Montgomery County and throughout the state of Maryland. And this is money that is taken from the surrounding casinos, right? So as it says right here, VLT program funds must be deployed to eligible small businesses located in targeted radius surrounding the state's 6 casinos. Next up, we have Newcorp. So Newcorp is a CDFI lender in Louisiana. All right. So they have a couple different programs. They have the Build NOLA Mobilization Fund. They have the R3 Microloan Fund, Build Louisiana Fund, and the RCF Fund. So this is going to be revolving capital that targets small and emerging businesses or franchises located in the state of Louisiana. Right here, we have Pursuit Lending. This is going to be for businesses in New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. What's unique about them, they have what's called this Smart Loan Program, okay? So you can actually get a business line of credit up to $100,000, and they've capped the interest rate at 11.9%. All you need is a personal credit score of a 640 or higher and annual revenue of at least $120,000. Next up, we have Rising Tide Capital, all right? So Rising Tide basically partners with a lot of these different micro lenders, right? So some of the micro lenders include Kiva, Axion, you have the Intersect Fund. You also have Greater Newark Enterprises Corp, which we just went over. Next up, we have True Fund. Now, True Fund has a lot of great products, eligible businesses in New York, New Jersey, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, as well as Texas. This one is interesting. So you have Village Micro Fund. So before we've talked mostly about just loans, lines of credit, but Village Micro Fund actually offers equity. Now, the difference between debt and equity, debt would be a loan, so you're not giving up ownership of your business, whereas equity is going to be, you're selling a portion of your business, so you don't have to necessarily pay back the money. That money goes directly into your business. Last but not least, we're going to go over Washington Area Community Investment Fund. Now, they actually just launched a new loan portal for a smoother, faster application experience. This is a CDFI in the Maryland, DC, Virginia. They offer term loans as well as lines of credit. The line of credit, in my opinion, is a game changer because you can have that line of credit on standby, and so you're not incurring any interest until you actually use the line of credit. So their line of credit starts at $10,000, goes up to $250. Rates starting at 11.12%, which is kind of on the higher side. There's no minimum credit score. You have the Entrepreneur of Color Fund. Now, this is a program where they enable a lot of these CDFIs in these major markets. So we're talking about DC, Detroit, New York, Miami, Chicago, Los Angeles. And so they allocate these funds to CDFIs, and the CDFIs go out and originate loans. A lot of people don't really know about a lot of these different programs. So I just wanted to share this. Now, if I didn't go over an institution that covers you geographically, I did put together this list. So this list right here includes a lot of the lending partners of the Black Entrepreneur Fund. Any entrepreneur could reach out to these CDFIs. You do not have to be a Black entrepreneur or a minority entrepreneur, so to speak. I just wanted to share this. So I'll drop a link in the description of the video for anyone who wants to get direct access to this list. And as more data and information comes in, we'll update this list. But I did want to give you guys some insight. If you aren't able to get money from traditional banks for your business, you could definitely check out community development financial institutions. And if you are a minority, a women, veteran, you could check out the Entrepreneurs of Color Fund. This is an initiative that has deployed over $180+ million in 2023 alone. So if you want to get access to some of that capital to really start to jumpstart your business, I've dropped a link in the description of the video for you to get more information. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Get it out to as many people so that people can get to the bag. That's all for today. Until next time, take it easy, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.